Hey everybody, sorry if I'm a couple minutes late. Alright, so today is Friday, so um on soap operas you never know what you're gonna get. Usually, you get something to tie up loose ends, sort of, and then you have a bit of a cliffhanger, or that's how they used to do it. Well, not on YNR. There's a bit of one, but it's been going on for a couple days now, so I don't consider it just a Friday cliffhanger. Um, it's a mystery whodunit, and I've discussed it already, so I'm not going to talk about that element of it. What I'm going to talk about is the furtherance of the story, or they're trying to. They're trying to get at who is it, right? Okay, so some awkward things happened today. Kane is supposed to be a billionaire at this point, and so he's got this whole, place, and he's got cameras and the security cameras and the thing. Okay, so you're supposed to believe that out of all the footage on the camera, the time when the incident happened, the footage is just blank, like nothing's there. Okay, so that obviously means someone's trying to hide what happened, or if you go on the other side, trying to implicate Kane because if there's no footage of anybody else doing it, they're going to point their finger automatically at Kane. Because as I discussed before, there's too much evidence against him and no one else. Okay? And also, then you put on top of that no video to show that so and so did it and it wasn't Kane, so there you go again, right? Okay. So, hmm. Well, it's interesting because people are either scared, pissed off, or really feeling for Kane, but then, okay, because here's the thing. Since yesterday, I believe, Nick's name was thrown into the pot of possibilities because he's the alleged weapon was somehow in his room where he was staying. Okay, so Chance asked, "Well, if you weren't involved, because Nick said I was not involved, I didn't do this." So Chance says, "Well, if you didn't do it, how is the weapon in your room?" He's like, "I don't know, but I swear I didn't do it." Right? Okay. So keep that in mind because Phyllis is one of the ones that feels bad for Kane because she says, well, look at it from his perspective. He was with you guys for a long time. You never really took him seriously. And so he's just trying to show who he is and why he did what he did, right? And now this whole thing is like going to put controversy on him. So she feels bad. So Nick says, okay, well, I don't really like that you feel bad for this guy who, ever since the word go, it's been interesting, awkward trip, all these things, and now somebody's unalived. And you have sympathy for Kane. Well, at this rate, you're going to have sympathy for me. And then it popped in my head what Kane said before he made a deal with Phyllis. Would you be willing to put your other friends under the bus for this? Because he wanted to know how much loyalty she had toward him. But now with everything going on, I'm starting to think that the question of would you be willing to sacrifice your friendships and whatever might have been more relevant than than I first thought because because of the way this is turning out. And it hasn't even turned out yet all the way. But I mean, currently where we are, I can see why he asked the question now. Because when he originally said it, I said in my own head, okay, well, maybe he doesn't trust people. But then automatically I said, why is he asking a question like that? Well, given everything, it makes more sense now. So, yeah. Yeah, so apparently this mystery is going to go on till I don't know what. But I don't know. Well, on the one hand, I like a mystery because I like something to solve. But on the other hand, if we get to find out before anybody else who did it, and they have to do this whole thing and nobody knows anything for a long time, I might not like it because I've been involved in a mystery thing before with a soap opera, and I knew who it was and I figured it out. And I'm like screaming at the other people, like it's so and so. And it takes them months to get where I am. And then they finally are like, oh, it might have been so and so. And I'm like, yeah. So if they do it like that, then I'm out. I don't know. Okay. So I'm going to talk about something I rarely talk about on the soap operas fashion. Um, okay, so Melissa or Michelle, I was watching something with Melissa before. Okay, sorry. Michelle Stafford was in green all week until today, and she was in a dark blue dress. Okay. Then Susan Walters, who plays hold on, Jack and Diane. She's always in a dark color, and it's because of foreshadowing and whatever. So I was very happy to see her in a blue striped dress. So I was happy about that. Okay. Oh, and then the whole oh my god moment, which I I shouldn't have been surprised by it, but I was because of how it happened. Okay, so this is going in a totally different direction, so I gotta warn you, okay? I'm not going on the same track here. All right, so Kyle and Audra. Audra is playing Kyle in order to get the money for Victor. Remember that storyline? Okay, that storyline's still going. Well, Kyle decides to team up with Audra so that they can have a battle of the perfumes. Remember that? Okay. So apparently, Audra is telling Kyle all the stuff that's happening in the other places, right? Which I don't know how she doesn't know anything, but anyway, okay. And so she's shocked and, whatever. And I'm like, okay. And then out of nowhere, and I mean out of nowhere, they start making out like they've been dating for 2 years. And I'm like, what the? Okay, there goes the relationship with Kyle and Claire. Okay, and meanwhile, I am kind of pissed off. And let me tell you why. Because I have been a big fan of Claire and Kyle's relationship from the beginning because, okay, Kyle is, I guess, supposed to be more well traveled, older, more mature, more whatever. And then you have Claire, who is playing a character who hasn't really seen too much of the world, was raised by a woman who didn't really treat her that well, finally gets a family that actually loves her, and she happens to be related to the Newmans. And she's Victoria's daughter, and then she loses her father and all the stuff. So, sweet girl already has enough tragedy for 2 lifetimes, and her boyfriend's in another country, and her boyfriend now not cheated. Well, it depends on your definition of cheated. Because if you consider kissing cheating on somebody, then he cheated on her. If you consider sleeping with somebody else when you're in a relationship with somebody, then he probably cheated on her. And with Audra, the person that he vowed up and down that he would not have anything else with her because he swore it was like a past thing and it's not going to happen again. Okay? Furthermore, why I'm pissed off. Because once it gets around that he did whatever to Claire, Victor is going to use that as ammo and say, see, I told you, he's bad news. It's not good. I don't like it. I don't like it. And plus, it's so freaking, like, there are two things I hate. A storyline with no plot, number one, or lazy writers, okay? And this is what this feels like because, okay, clearly they didn't want Claire and Kyle together for long. I'm fine with that. I'm not fine with it, but like I can see whatever. But the way they did it, their methodology, I don't like. Okay, because and when I read the description, it says that they crossed the line. And I'm like, how are they going to cross the line? What are they talking about? Why would they cross the line? And then I'm watching, and kaboom! I'm like, oh, that's how they, oh, wow, okay. But it also goes back into what I said about the, how I thought that they were Kim testing Claire with Holden, how Kyle happened to be gone away, and Claire would have little conversations with Holden, and now that he's in another country, she's really having conversations with him because she's going through tragedy. I said, okay, it looks like they're going to break up Claire and Kyle for whatever reason, and this might be the new person because it could go down the usual, like they're friends and then it turns into something else road or whatever. So, I don't know. I'm kind of happy I called it, but kind of not because I'm like, that was too easy. So, yes, it's up and down day. And for Friday, no less. So, all right. Bye, everybody.